I am going to talk about a very important subject which is affecting mankind today. It is really world governance, world peace and world prosperity. I have a note here which the readers can pick up from my website or from my handbook. Just to inform the readers, I work with Professor Muhammad Yunus, who is a Nobel laureate since the last 7 years. And we have every year a social business global summit somewhere in the world. We've had 7 summits so far in the last 7 years, and I have attended 5 of them. The last one was in Berlin, in Germany, where I was requested by Professor Yunus to give a talk about what are the issues from our foundation which could help world governance, world peace and prosperity. Because as you know, India has missed the Millennium Goals of 2015. In fact, many countries have missed. So now the United Nations have come out with the Millennium Goals for 2030, 30. So they're looking like 15 years ahead. But the problem which always comes back to social organizations, and there were close to 800 people from about nearly 400 social organizations from 50 countries. And one thing which came up was that there's a lack of funds for the social sector. So we had to address that issue also. So the issue which we addressed was in 3 parts. Number 1, tax havens. Now, the amount of corruption, you cannot have world peace, you cannot have world prosperity if you're going to have tax havens. Tax havens is the place where you put your black money or money for which you have not paid taxes into these banks in the tax havens. And it is estimated that the tax havens around the world keep anything from 10 to 22 trillion dollars of cash. And now also the militants, terrorists, drug dealers, lots of people who can or should be caught cannot be caught because their money is siphoned into these so-called safe havens, which are not normally available for scrutiny by various countries and by various tax authorities. So these tax havens should go. Actually, the G8 countries 3 years ago, where President Obama and Merkel raised this issue. And in fact, this is a very hot subject, but it needs to be addressed. Because even, I'll give an example of Guernsey in the UK and Isle of Man in the UK, which are tax havens, but they are outside the British Parliament. That means, even the British Parliament has nothing to say about these tax havens which are on their territory. So these are all man-made issues, and a lot of money is siphoned out without paying tax, which could really, some of it could flow into the social sector. The other issue which we raised was about what we spend on armaments. It is estimated that the world GDP, which is now closer to $80 trillion, 5% of that, so nearly $4 trillion, which is reported, is going into armaments. Now, what are these armaments meant for? These armaments are not meant to save the earth from some alien attack. These armaments are meant to kill human beings, basically. These armaments are meant to protect countries by killing the offenders who would be other human beings from other countries. So it's very sad that in the year 2017, we have to spend so much on armaments. If this could even be reduced by 10%, and if that money could flow into education, could flow into skill building, could flow into healthcare, could flow into schools, hospitals, I think there would be a sea change in the world within 10 years. This is something which we tried to address and the people agreed. And the third area, which is also of vital importance, is the fact that today only 70 people in the world have the same wealth as half the population of the planet. It used to be 500 5 years ago, 500 people on one side and half the planet on the other side. In this year, it's only 70 people. So the disparity between the rich and poor has become so intense, it's not stable, it's not a stable condition, and is bound to have a very serious repercussion in the future. Now, how this can be addressed, I don't have the answers, but at least it's my duty to inform the audience and the people that this needs to be addressed, and the leaders in the world, the G20, the G8, the G11, or whatever the groups are, United Nations, World Bank, World Economic Forum, they need to address these issues. This cannot go on forever, because a person who has a few $1 trillion, he can't spend it in his lifetime, he can't spend it in 100 lifetimes, And if some of that money could flow to the poor, it's a very sad thing. On TV you see foreign countries sending food to Somalia, sending food to East Africa, sending food to some place. But what those people need is education. Most of those people can't read and write. Today in Afghanistan, just to give an example, in Afghanistan I was told by an Indian soldier that there are 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds who can open and close a AK-47 at the same speed as an Indian soldier, but they cannot write ABCD in their language. They know how to kill. So the question is, where is the world going? They don't know, they are not educated, they have no skills, they have a one-point action plan that they have to take up that AK-47 and kill somebody. So the question is this, that politics of various countries has gone haywire. The amount of money we are spending on armaments, the disparity, lack of education, lack of health, lack of skills, lack of the social inputs, I think that is what is needed in this world, and there is enough money in this world. And if that can be done, we will not only achieve our United Nations Millennium Goals of 2030, but we will be able to surpass it. That's what I thought I would, in a nutshell, mention about how we can achieve good governance, peace and prosperity in this world. Thanks.